Hi, everyone. Hey, it's Edward Thomas and my co-host,
Lynn Nguyen. Hello.
Hey.
Happy
welcome
New
back.
Year.
Happy New Year. Yes. Woo. Welcome to a New Year's episode for Fika for Life.
2019.
Woo. 2019.
Yes. Only 1 year from 2020 then.
Oh, well, one day away. It's just like last year. It was yesterday, so... Okay, and we want to talk about new beginnings, obviously, because it's the beginning of the year. So
No way.
I know, it's really weird. I always feel like one of the hardest things is to remember to write the new year. So I have to start practicing now, writing 2019 instead of 2018, because it's, I might have to sign some important documents.
Some time. Sometimes I still write 2016, although it's
Wow.
2019 now.
Wow. It's 2018, you're still writing 2016. Okay, some of us take a little bit more time than others.
Yes, like me.
Yeah. So, new beginnings. What are we going to talk about today? What kind of new beginnings? How do you usually celebrate the beginning of the year?
Well, back then, when I wasn't a Christian, I would meet with my best friend back then too, and we would write down New Year's resolutions, things that we would wanted to happen, things that we wanted to achieve for that next year, and then we put it on a firework and send it to the sky and hope for it to happen.
Hope for the sky god to receive it and then bless you with the ability to do this thing. Yes.
But the thing is, I don't know, always after the new year, I don't feel like, oh my gosh, everything is new, blah, blah. It feels more like, okay, something like with fireworks in Germany happened last night. And then I don't know, the thing of next year is not so special.
Uh-huh.
For me, at least. I don't know. What about you?
Well...
You wake up, you're like, oh, new beginning.
I know, I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a new year and I get to start all over again. No. No, I mean, my oldest son was born on New Year's Day.
Oh, nice.
So it's always for the last 34 years, we've had a party on New Year's Day. So usually I've worked, come home, and then there's this big party for Eddie. So that's kind of been a big thing.
Because Eddie is your first kid.
Oh.
Okay.
He's the fourth.
I thought Jonathan was your
anyway.
No, yeah.
Eddie's the fourth, so he's the first one. And so in some ways, the New Year's is always a reminder of a new beginning because he was the first kid. He was born on New Year's Day. And that was like a whole new chapter of my life. So I think if he was born somewhere on another day, it wouldn't feel so special, but it's because of his birthday. So, but I do feel like, what is it about a new year that makes people want to make really wacky promises about, okay, I'm going to do differently than what I did last year. Like all of a sudden you change into a different person. Because
it's this new number in the end of all the dates or in the beginning of the dates, and people have this, I don't know, this feeling of, it has power. The new year has a power to change. And even though you haven't changed, somehow the new year makes everything new and things can change. Although, I don't know, people usually sign up for the gym, so it's a really good time for all the gym owners.
Exactly. The people who will never go to the gym to work out, but they pay for that.
Yeah, they pay for that. So they're like, I'm going to invest this year. People make promises to stop smoking, eat better, do more blah, 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 stress less, or achieve something. And I think every year it ends the same somehow, that you maybe look in the end of the year like, oh my gosh, this year went by so fast. And you might not have achieved those things that you wanted to, because it's not about the new year in itself. It's about your habits and what you actually change.
But when someone says something and it's not true, what do we call that kind of person?
Liar.
A liar. So we start the new year off with a bunch of lies. And if you do that every year, that just makes you a habitual liar, right?
A habitual liar,
yes.
So what do you think we should do instead? Or I think I don't know why people do that in the end, or I understand why people do that in the end of the year, like 2018 in the end. So you have a look back.
Yeah.
What happened throughout the year?
Why not start it in March? Test the new year first. So live a couple of months, or weeks within 2019. And then when you kind of figure out how that year is going to be, then make a resolution. So I think we should do March. I think the 1st of March, I start a new leaf, a new chapter for 2019. Because now I had a chance to sort of taste some of 2019. Does that sound weird?
Yeah, I don't know. What
Maybe
yeah.
you won't lie.
You mean like then you maybe know
You
how
might
your life
keep-
will look like,
Yeah.
and I mean, you are off the honeymoon season of it's a new year.
Exactly. Like now you're like
see.
into the grind of the year, And so maybe I don't know. I don't have any New Year's resolutions. I don't think of doing anything different.
Living
differently.
another year. That's my
I'm
resolution.
like, I'm going to be just as overweight this year as I was last year. I'm going to still hate mornings because I'm not a morning person. That's not going to change.
You can make your promise. I'm going to be beach whale 2019.
Ooh, I'm going to be I'm going to be a couch potato. Yes, that's my goal in life. To sit on the couch and watch TV. Yes.
So do you? Oh yeah, but I mean, when we are at my husband's home, usually we have a prayer. So we stay up all night, and then
Oh, wow.
at midnight we would meet, and then we pray for the new year.
Yeah, I have a sort of Christian, not New Year's Eve. We usually hang out with friends. When I was younger, we would go to church, and so you'd have a church service, and you celebrate the New Year at church. Hey, Happy New Year! When I got older, that sort of stopped, and now my wife's not a believer, and so we usually celebrate with some friends, and we sort of celebrate the New Year's with a raised glass. And that's kind of pretty much it. There's no prayer. There's no Jesus. I always wanted, I want to go to church because I kind of feel like I should be there, like thinking, God, I made it through this year. Woohoo! Let's just put that behind me.
That's just grace, right?
But,
there.
so that makes me feel like I'm a bad Christian.
It's good it's not our deeds that define our Christianity, man.
Exactly. I'm just as much Christian or just as bad a Christian
As everyone else.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. No, but I think some of the things we can think about, I mean, it is the start of a year. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the whole thing, is that the start of something seems like a good opportunity to make changes. Whether it's a change in relationships. A lot of people maybe change relationships, change jobs. Obviously, we want to sort of diminish the amount of bad things that we do, so we can do more good things.
Yeah, changing habits. People usually think, I want to quit smoking, I want to lose weight, I want to exercise more, I want to eat better. Things to improve.
Maybe make a 3-year, promise, so that what you do is like, this is the goal I want to achieve, but instead of trying to achieve it within 1 year, because it's really stressful to do that, then I could like break it down. And so this year, as I work towards the ultimate goal, this is this year's partial goal, which might be more achievable.
One habit.
Yeah, so
one habit, not like 10.
Like say if I smoke 3 packages of cigarettes a day, so maybe this year I'm going to really work at cutting down to 2.
Yeah.
Something that I can achieve, I can measure it, I can see how I'm doing. The next year, cut down to 1. The year after that, now I'm going to stop smoking. Because obviously, if I've gone down, it's just becoming more like I can celebrate more successes.
Yeah.
And maybe that might push me towards a greater goal.
Motivation.
Yeah. If I'm going to go down in weight, maybe the goal is not to look hot and sexy with my abs by summertime.
That's
but
really
maybe
pressure.
in 3 years, I can get there.
Maybe you can have like a reasonable goal, like, I want to lose, I don't know, 4 kilos per month or per 2 months. Something like more
Something that's more achievable and reasonable.
Yeah, like instead of saying, I want to lose 10 kilos in like 3
Next week.
months. Oh my gosh. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, it would be things like, a lot of times people make decisions or resolutions that, okay, I'm going to read the Bible every day. Like,
That's
just read the
difficult.
Bible every week. Maybe instead of every day, just at least once a week. Start there and then work up to maybe twice a week and then maybe every day.
Don't make promises. Don't put the bar too high.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where people fail.
Because then you become a liar. When you like walk around and say, you know what, I'm going to do this and this and this. And then you don't live up to it. And
Exactly.
then it's not trustworthy. It's like not real.
All right. So you've heard this from Mama Lynn, because her advice is rock solid, Set an achievable goal.
Yeah, set an achievable goal.
Yeah.
And keep yourself accountable, or maybe get an accountability partner. And
someone
you should
make
always
you do it.
yeah, you should always like choose something that's measurable.
So that's kind of a good thing.
So what do you think Jesus would do during New Year?
Well,
In his time.
they would have celebrated. So the New Year started earlier in the year because they would have been on the religious calendar, and so they would have celebrated the beginning of the year, or the end of the year would be Yom Kippur. So it would be the Day of Atonement. You would fast a whole day, and then you would allow God to sort of reveal all your sin. And so that was a day for confession, is to
that's bad.
really sort of cleanse everything. Like, okay, this year, this is what my list of sins have been. And sort of to reflect upon that so that you would ask God to forgive you for specific acts of disobedience to his word. And that would be more it's not so much the promise of doing something new, it's sort of the promise of turning a page by walking away from those things which are bad. So that would be like another twist on it, instead of focusing on these are the things I'm going to make myself try to do.
Like make better.
Yeah. And instead you would just be focusing on these are the things I'm going to leave behind.
Mm-hmm. That I have done.
That I have done.
So looking back instead of looking forward.
Yeah. Or looking forward with
new eyes.
Yeah, with new eyes, exactly. Yeah. And so in that sense, it's not so much of a promise of change in the sense of I have to do, but a promise of change in the sense that it's something I'm not going to do. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a different kind of focus or something like that. And maybe that's why people fail, is because they're trying to, by their own merit, achieve goodness. And instead of maybe thinking like, you know what, I'm just going to stop swearing at people. I'm going to stop giving old ladies the finger because they're rude, or I'm going to stop telling kids they're little beep, 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 just because they are little beep, beep, beeps, or, so maybe we could focus on maybe just letting go of some things that aren't really good for us and things that don't really help us or anything like that in life.
I usually try to set up goals. Oh, I want to be better at keeping in touch. I want to be better at, communicating to people and watching my mouth, what I'm saying, to whom.
Wow.
But the thing is it's so tough, and then this is something that's a lifelong thing, and it's a bit stupid to do it every year,
right?
Because it feels like, oh, you only have 1 year, or I haven't gotten better since last year, I suck. But actually It shouldn't be about that.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Maybe how about the advice? So you want to do something practical, something that's actually achievable. Maybe the other thing is maybe to treat yourself with a little grace.
Yeah.
I think instead of beating yourself up about all the things you feel that you failed at, maybe just be a little bit kinder to yourself. You mentioned about not setting the bar too high, and maybe just being a little bit more forgiving of yourself.
Of yourself, yeah.
Be a little more tolerant of yourself. Give yourself a little bit more time to make some of these changes. Some of these things will not be achievable in a year.
No.
They've been part of your life. You build it up for 20, 30, 40, 50, in my case, 50, almost 60 years. It's probably going to take almost that amount of time.
To get rid of.
To get rid of and to do something new. So if you sort of look at it as more of a long-term change.
Yeah.
So I can start making changes as opposed to I have to achieve the change now. That might help some people to sort of get on the road of positive recovery and stay on it for the long haul, because they're not trying to pressure themselves to make changes faster than what they're able to make that change. So.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what do you usually do during New Year's Eve, on the Switch? You remember 2000 when everyone thought the world would go down?
I was so disappointed the next day when the was it YK2K or whatever it was didn't, the computers were still working. I turned my computer
obviously.
on. I was so disappointed when my computer was I can't deal with this anymore. And everything would break down, and everything just continued on the day before. It was no big deal. So I was like, ha, 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 how funny.
I was 9, so I didn't get all that.
Oh, wow, you were a little
rush.
baby.
Yeah.
I was working as a chef in a restaurant. And so we had this amazing New Year's Eve party. You invited friends. You invited lots of people. Totally decked out. I got a brand new watch from the owner of the restaurant. We had like lobster and all kinds of, I mean, it was like totally decked out. And people paid money, and then we went out to the bridge. This was up north in Skellefteå in Sweden.
Oh, it was. You worked in Sweden as a chef too.
Yeah. I worked some. Yeah, I used to do a lot of catering for parties and teaching cooking technique and stuff like that. And then we went out to the bridge, Leonbrun in Skellefteå, and watched the fireworks. Amazing display of fireworks. And it seemed like I was like, okay, I actually made it to the year 2000. I made it to a new century. Which, when I was back in the 60s, when I was born, or the 70s, when I was growing up, it was like, oh my gosh, think if we're going to live to see the 21st century, you know. It seemed like something in the future. And now I'm like in the 21st century. I was like, a little more technology. It wasn't all that bad, you know. It's like, okay, whatever. So that was a millennium. So I'm kind of looking forward to
the next millennium.
No, like the half millennium. So I wonder if I'll be alive at 2050. Because 2052, I'll be 90 years old.
Yeah, but it could happen.
Could happen. Well, if I go down in weight, exercise, probably stop eating so much butter. There's a whole bunch of little factors in there that might help that out too. But yeah, that would be kind of cool to be at the half millennium.
Is that a half millennium? Isn't it a half century?
Okay, half century, yeah. Okay.
Dude. You live a half millennium.
Sorry,
that's
500 years.
2,500.
Yeah, okay, sorry. That would be, yeah, okay. Yeah, I can't count. So a half a century would still be kind of a cool thing to see. If we've all made it. Have we made it past the global warming, climate change, and weapons and killing each other and all kinds of wacky stuff, diseases that there's no cure for?
Yet.
Yeah.
People are working on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Even on the resistant bacteria?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. People will fix it.
I'm like, can somebody discover new antibiotics? I love my antibiotics. Can I just get some new ones, please? They're so comfortable. Okay. Now we're off track again. Surprise.
New year.
Okay. So some of the things that you can do, I think that obviously things that concern your health. Sometimes you can make changes that will improve your health, improve relationships. So is there some kind of change that would improve the amount of relationships you have? Maybe you have a strange relationship, so things haven't worked out so well. Maybe you could do something and start pulling that or twisting that back into a more positive direction. New achievable things, information. So like going to school, getting trained for a new job, seeking a new promotion. Those are kind of things that not necessarily I have to do it this year, but maybe on the long term, you could start to sort of make those small changes that'll make these bigger changes more achievable. So.
And maybe this year, 2019, maybe you are expecting a child. Maybe there's an anniversary coming up. A good one. Maybe, I don't know, you've been together with someone for a long time, or your parents' birthday. Maybe it's a round one, or your birthday.
We've been married 27 years, so it's not a big...
or maybe even sad anniversary. Someone has died last year.
Oy. Yeah.
And it comes back this year.
Oy.
And yeah, and every year I think has same things that come up. Maybe your birthday comes up, and Christmas, and Easter, and in Sweden it's midsummer, and like all of the celebrations come up every year, but every year is not the same.
No.
So there are things to look forward to, and there are things you maybe expect that.
I didn't think about that. Something to look forward to. Oh my gosh.
So I think every year you should start with something that you look forward to, like something you want to happen.
Yeah. Wow, that was pretty deep. Something to look forward to.
Should think about that, guys. So today, on New Year's Day, think about something that's positive, that you look forward to, that will happen. And I mean, we don't have time in our hands, and time will run anyway. And everything is from God, and it's God's grace that you live another day. So be grateful for that.
I was just thinking about that. Well, maybe one of the things in starting the new year would be looking back over the last year. So looking back at 2018, what can I be thankful for? What can I be grateful for? Maybe to start off the new year with thoughts of gratefulness. Thank you, God, that, the year might have been hard and difficult and sucky, but I still made it through the year. Like there's a a value in making it through the year, even if the year wasn't that great. Sometimes there's maybe things have happened, both, the good things and the bad things. And so I can look back upon that. Maybe thanking God for the life that was spent with someone who's passed. So I had a friend that died in 2018. And of course, there's loss, but there was also a life. I got a chance to spend several years of my life with that person. And so I could be thankful for the time that was spent, or
instead of thinking about the time that you won't be spending.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of looking at the loss, look at what actually really happened, and try to be objective and kind about doing that. So, wow. Yo.
So, guys, Happy New Year again.
Happy New Year!
Send in to our email your questions, because we are really excited about them, and your comments, and let us know what you want to.
And which email address should they use?
fikaforlife@mail.com.
Oh my gosh, you're like a living encyclopedia. That's amazing.
You're funny, Ed. So
really?
Happy New Year,
you're
guys.
You're funnier, Lynn.
Hear you guys later.
Yes. Feel free to write in 2019. Your opinions matter to us. You can even ask us to do things like pray for you about stuff like that. That's okay too. Even if you don't have a question, but you just want us to take some time in our daily prayer life just to pray for you. We'll do that too also.
And maybe you guys can give us input on experiments that you want us to do. Like, go to your boss and ask them this and this. And what is the answer? What happened? And stuff.
Why are you such a jerk?
No, kind things.
Kind things. When are you going to stop being a jerk? Is that like a kind thing?
No.
Okay. Yeah, man, have a great day. For those of you who have partied too much,
drink
as
water.
we close, drink a lot of water. Rest up. Try to be a little bit kinder to yourself with the drinking, and have a great and wonderful 2019. And keep following us. Keep telling your friends about Fika for Life.
Thank you for listening. If you have any comments or ideas, please send us a message to fikaforlife@mail.com. Fika, F-I-K-A. This was the Fika for Life podcast with Lynn Nguyen and Edward Thomas, and we hope to hear you again.